Hey, and welcome back to the Hair Lounge. My name's Angelina and I'm a licensed stylist. Today we're going to talk dry shampoo. I have tons of questions from all of my clients of how do you actually use dry shampoo? Well, today I have two different kinds that I'm going to show you how to apply to your hair and use it into your weekly styling routine. Let's go. If you enjoy learning about hair, click the subscribe button and the bell to get notified for all my new videos. I'm sure many of you have noticed there's tons of dry shampoo on the market. There's foam, there is aerosol spray, and I've also recently seen powder. Today, I'm going to show you aerosol and foam spray. I have personally never used a foam spray on my own hair, so I'm going to try it today to see how I like it and give you kind of my insider tips of which one I like better. If you guys have been here before, you know when I take out my hair, I always like to brush through my hair first. That way you're removing all of those tangles in your hair and you're not tugging through your hair while you're trying to style. I always start with my wet brush, starting at my ends, just to get those tangles out. Make sure you're not pulling too hard on them. And you get all of them out from root to ends. So the first one I'm going to try, since I haven't tried it before, is a foam dry shampoo. The one I'm using today is by Kenra, their Platinum line, and this is just a refresh dry shampoo foam. Don't forget, I will link everything down below that you guys can use, all the products that I'm using today. Don't forget, I'm not affiliated with any of these products. These are just products that I decided to try and show you guys. So for this one, you are able to use as a normal dry shampoo. Parting your hair, spraying it on your roots, letting it sit, and then brushing it through. Also with this Kenra Platinum Dry Shampoo, you can also use it if you use too much product. So say you're putting gel in your hair and in one spot you just feel like you have too much in there, this will correct product buildup. So you can just spray it right where that product is, really rub it in, and that'll kind of refresh your hair without having to shampoo your hair and start all over again, which is kind of nice. Not all dry shampoos I've noticed have said this. Another thing is, say you haven't washed your hair for 4 days and it's getting oily, not just at your scalp, but all the way through. This shampoo or dry shampoo, you're able to spray from root to ends. Another thing that I noticed with this one, just from reading it obviously, is you have to make sure that you move kind of quickly when you're applying it to your hair since it is a foam shampoo. So to begin with this one, again, kind of separate your hair. Make sure you shake this one pretty good. Most dry shampoos you have to shake, but just make sure since this one is a foam, you want it to come out correctly, so you got to make sure that you shake it. As you can see on this actual spray bottle, there is a nozzle on there. So this makes it a little bit easier. You can get closer to your roots. All right, let's do it. So kind of separate that hair and spray. I'm gonna just let it sit on my hair until I get it all dripped all over. Right now I'm just applying it kind of more like a regular dry shampoo and not putting it all over. I'm just going to do it at my roots. And then don't forget your crown. Now with foam dry shampoos, you want to use your hands. You will eventually use a brush to brush it through, but you want to really distribute all the foam into your hair before you're combing it through. That way it somewhat dries in your hair. So I'm just going to kind of take my hands and distribute it in all of kind of the hair all around my hairline. And then in all those little sections, just make sure you're rubbing it in. One nice thing with this one is since you can put it all through your hair, you don't have to worry too much about getting it on your ends. And with a foam dry shampoo, it applies wet. Unlike some of the aerosol dry shampoos, it's kind of more of a chalky or grittier feel. So this one feels a little bit more moisturizing, which is kind of nice. Almost makes you feel like you're really shampooing your hair since it's wet. So I'm just continuing to rub it in really well. You're wanting it to dry in there. You don't want it to see, as you can see right through here, it still is pretty wet. So I'm just gonna make sure I really rub that spot. Kind of back on my crown area too is a little wet still. But everywhere else, seems like it dried fairly well. You can also just sit for a little bit and let it dry. I'm sure you can take your blow dryer to it, but I don't think it's necessary. So now I'm just gonna kind of wait just a few seconds while it dries. Now that it's fully absorbed, this is when I'm gonna go in with my nylon or boar bristle brush and just brush it into my scalp and through kind of more of my, from my scalp to my midsection. Just making sure getting it all the way through. Like that. Now that I've tried the foam shampoo, I'm going to give you a little breakdown of a few things I've noticed while using it. I think it'll be great for someone who has dry hair, or if you're needing to start all over again, say you had your hair pinned back into a ponytail and now you have that ponytail line. This will be awesome for almost restyling your hair without actually having to shampoo it. Since it is a wet foam, it makes your hair damp. That way you can kind of rub that crease out from your ponytail and then dry your hair or let it air dry. As you can see, it adds a lot of shine into your hair. So with dry shampoos, sometimes people are more oily. So I believe a foam shampoo will not be the best for someone who has oily hair. You want to stick with a aerosol spray. Another thing is it smells super, super nice, so it does kind of refresh your hair. I think the foam shampoo will be awesome for those people who say, like right now, I put my hair up whenever it was wet, so it kind of has all these wild frizzy ends. This would be great just to put all over my hair without actually having to get my hair damp again. That way I can style my hair and tame all that frizziness. Now we're gonna move on to our normal dry shampoo in an aerosol form. So now the dry shampoo I'm going to use is by Paul Mitchell, their new Invisible Wear line. This one is specifically for blonde hair. They have tons of other dry shampoos for different colors, brunette and black. So you want to make sure you're getting the correct one that will match your hair. As you guys can see, it's almost time for me to actually highlight my hair. So I have tons of roots. So I thought this would be awesome to see if it'll kind of hide all of that regrowth. Again, with dry shampoo, shake it up It says protect your clothing. I'd imagine since it's gonna spray out in a color, you wanna be careful, but we'll try it without protecting our clothes because like you guys know, I like to live on the wild side. So again, on my part, spray it on and do it in sections. One thing I've noticed already with this dry shampoo, with my hair being as shiny as it was from that foam shampoo, this one seems to absorb a lot more oil, even from that other dry shampoo. Let's make sure we're getting on our crown. And the biggest tip you can have when you're using dry shampoo is let it sit on. Let it sit on for a couple minutes so that way it can do its job before you're brushing through it. Sometimes people put it on, instantly brush through it or run their hands through it, and it's not sitting on their hair long enough to actually absorb all of the oil. So let it sit on. Now I'm going to take my nylon boar bristle brush and we are going to brush that in from root to kind of your midsection, mid ends. So as you can see, I'm still a little bit shiny kind of back through this back section. So I'm going to spray a little bit more there. Again, let that sit on so it can do its job. Now we'll brush through it. See, now it's not as shiny. You can see it did lighten up my regrowth just a tiny, tiny bit, not tons. You can kind of see on my fingertips, it did leave a little bit of a residue from me kind of rubbing it in. So you do want to be careful and you're not spraying it on, say, like a white shirt or your clothes. But I feel like that one did a pretty good job of removing actual oil from my hair. So that way it's not that super shiny look. Now let's do a quick recap of the difference between a foam and a dry. Your foam dry shampoo is great if you are trying to do a completely different style than what you had previously. It sprays on wet, so it's easier for you to not shampoo your hair, but make you feel like you shampooed your hair since it applies damp. Let it sit on, take your blow dryer to it, brush it through, then you can restyle over the top. Again, this one can go root to ends, and it's not going to dry out your hair like a typical dry shampoo. It doesn't get that gritty, chalky feel. Again, it's great for getting out your ponytail creases, any of that. If your hair is normally dry and you want to add a little bit of shine back into it, this is a good option of a dry shampoo. Now for our normal aerosol spray dry shampoo, this is great. Say you're doing an updo and your hair is that super silky, soft hair and you need something that's gonna be a little grittier and hold your style. Dry shampoo is a great option for that in the aerosol spray form. Again, if you get super oily and it's day 4 and you just need something to hold you over till you can shampoo again, this one's great for removing all of that oil. As you can see, it takes a lot of the shine away. Again, it did lighten up my roots just a tiny bit, can also hold you over for until you get your next highlight or color service, depending on how dark or light your hair is. A few tips you need to remember when using your dry shampoo. Make sure you're sectioning your hair. Also, make sure you are applying it as close as you can to your root. Another thing is you want to make sure it's sitting on your hair for a few minutes. That way it can absorb all of that oil. And make sure it is dry. Then you're going to brush it through your hair. Hopefully these tips and tricks helped you guys and you can start using dry shampoo in your normal weekly washing or not washing routine. Thanks for watching. Don't forget to go down, hit the subscribe and the bell. That way you guys get notified for all of my new and upcoming videos. See you next time. Bye.